Hey guys, Terry Hay here again from Shock Trip, and this is part 2 in our Speed Secret videos. Now, we spoke about the importance of the front wheel when it comes to speed, and the reason that the front wheel is so important is it creates a feeling of confidence or a feeling of lack of confidence if that front wheel is not planted. And so the better we get the front wheel performing, the better we can go around the track. Now, when it comes to the rear wheel is very important for drive and traction, but here's the deal, nearly everyone can go fast in a straight line. It's when we get into the corners that we see the biggest speed differential between the faster riders and the slower riders. Now, one of the most important things, or the most obvious things in terms of speed, is the braking zone. Now, typically what we'll find is there are riders who are slow in this area, and they're slow for a couple of reasons. First of all, they might be washing off their speed very slowly, and so they brake softly over a long distance, and it makes it very easy for them to get past on corner entry. And this is where most of the braking, where most of the passes are made. Now, then you'll also get the guy that actually brakes hard, but he washes off too much speed. And so if a corner can be taken at 40 kilometers an hour, it's quite often the case that people will brake down to say 20 kilometers an hour, and then they try to make up that over braking under gas. And so smooth riders will actually brake to a point where they're just under maximum corner speed, so they might brake down to 30 or 35 kilometers an hour, pick up the throttle nice and gently, and they accelerate out of that corner. When we've got someone that over brakes, they generally realise that the gap has been created with the faster rider, and so in order to make up that gap, now they try to urgently get on the gas, and so we then suffer traction loss on corner exits and a lack of control. Now, if we look at the guy that's braking way too softly for too long, basically, if we're trying to make up speed, if we're trying to get that rider faster, what we can do is actually perform braking drills. And it's great to get out into a paddock, somewhere where there's just an ability to go in a straight line, pick up good pace on the bike, and practice braking. Now, a couple of witches hats will make this even easier. If you put a witch's hat out to where you want the person to brake from, and you put a witch's hat out to where they stop. Okay, so if they brake at the first witch's hat, they pull up, you put the second witch's hat at that particular area, and you get them to do it over and over again, and hopefully you'll shut that distance down. And so after a while, they'll realise that they don't have to brake as progressively, and they can brake a lot more aggressively and shut that distance down, and therefore pick up a lot of pace. And that pace will be gained in each and every corner, which is very, very important, and it makes them less of a target for the faster riders coming through, so they will be able to hold their position a lot better. And so doing this drill will pay off for you. Now, not only do we want the front wheel planted, but we want to know what the front wheel is doing. And the biggest gain that you can make for these riders is not in a pipe, okay? How many people get passed down the straight? Not very many. And so you can go out and drop a couple of grand on a pipe, serious waste of money. You know, if you really want to get the biggest bang for your buck, go and invest in brakes. Okay, now if you put an oversized disc on your bike, if you put a braided line on your bike, you will find that you will not only have better braking performance, but your braking will require less effort, so there's less arm pump, less fatigue from the rider. But not only that, braided lines, which I'm a big fan of, actually promote far better feedback from the front wheel. So your rider knows what's going on at the front tyre, and he'll know he can adjust his braking pressure or her braking pressure to get the most out of that bike. Now, can't emphasise the importance of that enough. Okay, so that would be the first mod that I would make. Oversized disc, braided lines, that will pay off big time for you. Pipe, who cares, you know? What a waste of money. Go and put your money into brakes, go and put your money into tyres. When you find that you need that extra 1/10 of a second per lap, then look at your pipe. Okay, with the guy that brakes aggressively and actually washes off too much speed, what we need to do is develop control in that corner. And the easiest way to do that is to basically get them to take that corner over and over again. And I would start off very, very slowly and encourage that rider to not use any brakes. Okay, so come at a nice, gentle pace and ease through the corner, just roll through, and then as they feel comfortable, pick up the pace further and further and further again. And it will blow your mind at how fast these guys can actually take those corners without touching the brakes. And so obviously if they're going to get into a situation where they've overcooked the corner, certainly let them know that they can use the brakes to get themselves out of trouble. You don't want to cause any accidents or anything like that. But this is a great awakening, and it's a big difference in attitude towards the corner. And so these people are washing off too much speed. Well, once you go, if that corner is 40 kilometres, once you go beyond 40 kilometres an hour, you're descending down, you get down 35, 30, 25, 20 kilometres an hour, you're washing off more speed than you need to. Okay, and then you have to build that speed back up. So that rider that's flowing and can run into that corner at 35, closer to 40 kilometres an hour, he carries more corner speed, he looks so much smoother, or she looks so much smoother. It's like the Monty Python. Stan, I want you to call me Loretta from now on. But anyway, PC, who would have thought we'd come to this? But basically, if you can manage that corner speed, you will find you'll be so much faster and you're not wasting time. So get through, just practice rolling through the corner without any brakes and build your speed up, and you will create that realization in your rider, and your rider will be that much faster. And guess what? It'll actually require less effort for them. They're not overcooking the brakes. They're not squeezing that brake as hard. They will basically be less fatigued, and we'll find we'll have a much better outcome. So look at your brakes, okay? Anyone can get on the gas hard. We don't need to be fast where we're already fast. We need to be fast where we're slow. And the biggest areas that you're going to find gains is basically in the braking zone. So get to it, and we'll come back with another video and go from there. Thank you.